On to this next story here. Community policing. It's been under the public microscope more than ever. And of course, we all know that there have been more protests, more calls for defunding the police. Also, more officers have been targeted by criminals. It's become a controversial issue as to how we can have true community policing and not a political slogan. A North Carolina police department decided to take matters into their own hands, adopting a customer service approach and turning to a consulting firm out of Ohio to help. Joining us right now, Chief Johnny Jennings of the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department and John DeJulius, President and Chief Revolution Officer at the DeJulius Group out of Cleveland, Ohio. Good morning to you both. I want to get right to this because of our limited time. So, Chief Jennings, you wanted to humanize your officers and the sacrifices they make. So what has helped in getting the message across, and what exactly have you seen over a year's time?
Yeah, that's exactly right. And there's another side to policing and what's behind this badge that comes with the humanization of what we do every single day. And my goal was just to improve our everyday contacts that we have, to say that we are going to approach every interaction, whether it's internally or externally, and try to make it positive. And if we can do that and be day makers, then I think that improves our profession tremendously.
John, I have to ask you a question. Your agency wanted to actually use a lot of marketing skills to storytell and essentially become the Chick-fil-A of policing, or was that the intention, where people saw this friendlier, warmer delivery of police officers, but at the same time you have to have some firmness and steadiness and the feeling of being protected? How in the world do you balance all of that? John, that question's for you. Can you hear me?
Okay, yeah, we're both Johns. So
sorry.
I
apologize. I'll call the chief. I'll call the chief, okay. And I'll call you John.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy when you hear words like be a daymaker or leave a positive impression and earn a genuine thank you. And that's coming from law enforcement. But yeah, it absolutely can. And, from my work with Charlotte and the amazing vision Chief has, close to 98% of their interactions don't even result in an arrest, right? So if you table the 2.5, 2.3% that do, and focus on those and be a human first and a professional second, that really puts it in sync. Over 500,000 of their interactions, of their calls last year, did not result in an arrest. And that doesn't count all the innocuous interactions you have with the police of just bumping into them. That's probably millions just there. So them taking that approach to really be day makers, and their customer experience action statement is to leave a positive impression and leave a genuine thank you, right? They literally want someone, after they hand them a ticket, to thank them, right? That's remarkable. That's their approach.
Chief Jennings, I want to know what Chief Jennings you have to say about what the public's response is, because there was some controversy around this. Some people criticized you and your department for trying to implement something like this to something as serious as policing.
Yeah, I think initially there was, and probably some fault of ours on how we actually introduced it. But, I keep hearing the Chick-fil-A of policing, and that I want us to mirror what Chick-fil-A does. And, Chick-fil-A is just the experience that I had and what at my lowest moment and how I was valued as a customer. And that's where the idea came from. So it could have been anything. It could have been a retail store, but it did create some criticism where internally, specifically, that we don't serve hamburgers, we don't serve the public in that fashion, and they kind of missed the point. The entire point is, how do we treat people that we come in contact with? And sometimes it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And it's important to us to make sure when we leave that individual that we have contact with, that they're not having a bad impression of our profession. Mm-hmm. And we want to be the best part of somebody's best day. And that's difficult to do. And this training makes it intentional on what we're trying to accomplish. And I think it's making great strides in everything, how we do policing throughout our agency and even across the country.
Even with the anger, even with the tensions, even with people, with cries for defunding the police and all of that, what was the public's response over the past several months?
That's the entire point, is that people who don't have those interactions with our law enforcement agents or law enforcement or police officers, that they get their perception of who we are based on what they see in the media. And the entire point is, when you have that contact with individuals, they realize that it's not all what's being said across the country and the vilification of policing, that they have a good experience, and that can last them for years or even a lifetime when they are able to reflect back on the experience they had with that interaction.
So, John, would you say that this campaign was a success?
Oh, my God. Totally, because of the chief's vision, but more importantly, because of his relentlessness. He would not stop. He would not lighten up, even with any, resistance. And Charlotte-Mecklenburg is the first police department in the world that has a chief experience officer, right? And he sends them to an academy to get this training. Who does that? Hospitality companies. He's so committed to seeing this through, and it'll be the norm someday. In policing that started here.
All right. Well, Chief Jennings, John DeJulius, it's a possibility that it does go nationwide. Thank you so much for both of you joining and giving a fresh perspective on some of the things that are being done intentionally, because at the end of the day, no matter whether you wear a badge or you wear a fireman's uniform or firewoman's uniform, or whether you're a news anchor, we're humans first.
Absolutely. And I want to give a shout out to the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police as well. Craig Robinson, who you know from The Office and some of those Pizza Hut commercials and several other things, he was doing a comedic performance. He was doing stand-up. There was a man with a gun. Charlotte-Mecklenburg was able to handle the situation, got everybody out safely, arrested the person with the gun. He said they did a great job. He gave him a pat on the back. So my pat on the back to them as well for handling that situation. It's not just about nice movies and being Chick-fil-A or what have you. It's about getting the job done, and they're doing that too.
Yeah, well, and I think that, again, it's about getting the job done, and yet also realizing that it's not always going to be this violent interaction. Much of policing has to do with serving the community and our interactions face to face. So great conversation to have here on Morning in America. Thanks so much again to those two. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.